Alright guys, so today we're going to look at the brand new SoundPEATS Truengine 3 SE. And one of the reasons I'm excited about checking these out is the original SEs are still some of my favorite truly wireless earbuds to this day. So the fact that I feel like they went back to that original design and made some really nice improvements when it comes to the sound and the technology and only bumped the price up to $60 on the new 3s definitely had me interested. But we're going to check out some of those features, we're going to check out the sound, and see if it's worth the $60 price tag. So let's go ahead and start with the fact that these have dual dynamic drivers, and they actually were able to even kind of somewhat slim down the design from the originals. And on top of that, they have added touch controls instead of using the original button controls, and for me, that is a nice improvement, and in my opinion, makes it worth it on its own. Now, when it comes to the technology that's in here, they are using Bluetooth 5.0, but they're also using a Qualcomm 3020 chip and using the TWS Plus connection. So your device is connecting to both earbuds individually and not having it where one earbud is trying to depend on the other one as far as its connection. And what that's doing is allowing you to have a much more stable connection, so you don't have to worry about dropouts or anything like that. Now, it does have aptX and SBC playback, so as far as watching movies or videos and even playing games, I didn't experience any kind of lag at all. Now, as far as the IP rating on these, it comes in rated at IPX5, so it's not completely waterproof, but it's still a pair that you can go out, and if it starts to rain or if you're somebody that sweats heavily, you don't have to worry. Now, as far as what you're getting inside the box, on top of getting the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips, they've also included a pair of the Comply foam ear tips. So if you're a fan of using foam ear tips over silicone ear tips, it's nice that you have that option right out of the box. And as far as the charging cable on these, they come with a USB-C cable. And speaking of the charging cable, I feel like the battery life on these is very impressive, because for a pair that has dual dynamic drivers, which is going to draw more power, you're still getting around 6.5 hours of battery life on the earbuds themselves, where with the charging case, you're gonna get around 30. Now, one thing I would have liked to have seen is them add a fast charge feature or even have the case be a Qi wireless charging case. So that is definitely two things I would have liked to have seen them add to these. But it still kind of falls back to the fact that these are only $60, so you kind of have to lower your expectations when it comes to some features like that. Now, as far as the case itself, on the back you have your USB-C input, and then underneath the lid you have your 4 indicator lights so that you can kind of gauge how much battery life is on the case. Now, when you open up the lid, you see the earbuds, and they kind of look almost identical to the original ones, but again, you can tell right off the bat that these are using touch controls and not your button controls. And I'm happy to say that the controls control everything. So you have your play, pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards, and you even have your volume control all on the earbuds themselves. Now, as far as you guys that like to use your earbuds individually, you'll be happy to know that you can use either the left or the right. And then when it comes to the microphones, this is another improvement that they've made, because on the original SEs, it used the CVC 6.0 technology, where with these, it's using the CVC 8.0. And what that does is it's focusing a lot more on your voice and doing a much better job of blocking out your surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
Alright guys, so here is a mic test using the Truengine 3s. Again, I think it does a very good job of picking up my voice, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound. The sound is the most exciting thing about these, and really before we get into the sound itself, I want to point out that the volume on these is much louder than the originals. I've had some people that say that they felt like the original ones didn't get loud enough for them. I feel like they definitely addressed that with the 3s because the volume is much louder. It doesn't distort, which is definitely important, and the sound itself is just, in my opinion, as good as it gets, and that's for any price tag, let alone the fact that these are $60. Now, it does come with a little bit of a caveat, or I don't even know how you say it, but if you are somebody that's looking for a flat sound signature, this is not the pair. Like, this is the furthest thing from the pair, because this is giving you a pretty rich dynamic sound. The bass has a lot of impact to it, although it's not sloppy at all. It's very tight, it's very quick, but you can definitely feel it. Same thing with the mids. The mids are pushed forward enough where everything still feels natural. It doesn't feel like it's overdone, and it's just really clean, and you're able to pick up a lot of details in vocals, and I was just extremely impressed. Now, when it comes to the treble has a nice brightness to it. It stays away from being too harsh, but it definitely gets close to it. So if you're gonna listen at louder volumes, do kind of expect that the treble is going to have a very bright sound to it. Now, I personally really enjoy that, especially when you're mixing it with bass that has the impact that it does. It just, again, gives you this full, rich, dynamic sound, which is a sound signature that I prefer. But the soundstage and sound imaging on these, I feel, are excellent as well. Makes you feel like you are in a much larger room, and then being able to tell where everything is coming from is no problem when it comes to these. Now, as excellent as I feel that these are, I do have a couple of cons. One, for people that want a very tiny earbud, this still has a little bit of size to it. I don't think it's a big deal, especially considering that you have dual dynamic drivers crammed into these earbuds. And then my only other complaint is I would like to see maybe a fast charge feature, or at least have the case be a Qi wireless charging case. Now, I would happily pay a little bit more to have these features so that I can have everything that I want with an excellent sounding pair of earbuds. This is a no-brainer. This is an easy pair to recommend. They definitely improved upon a pair that was already one of my favorites. So the Truengine SoundPEATS 3 SE is one of the best values out there right now when it comes to true wireless earbuds. But guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.